Hey, it's Tim. I'm going to talk to you about the M word. You know what the M word is? It's the evil M word in sales, manipulation. We're going to talk about manipulation. It's one of my favorite topics, and I'll explain to you why. Okay, I'm going to explain to you how manipulation helped me to make money. Manipulation helped me to go from broke to 3K per month, inconsistent, not been able to pay my rent barely, to 40K per month, helping remote sales reps make a bunch of money, changing my life, consulting for amazing offers and amazing companies, okay, through sales. This is going to be an interesting one, and it's one that I wasn't sure I should talk about, but I'm going to literally give you the 3 most manipulative strategies that I use to close people. Before I do it, I want to preface it with something. Sales is manipulation. Most people attach negative feelings and negative connotations to the word manipulation. When they hear manipulation, they think, oh, it's bad, it's evil. But when I use manipulation in this training, as you'll see, I'm not using it with the context of evil. Manipulation to me is just achieving a specific outcome and influencing someone to pick a specific path, a path that is going to positively impact their lives, positively impact their businesses. That's what I see manipulation as. And one of the things that I was able to learn, I learned a lot on my dating offer that I was closing on, which is where I made the most of my money. I was selling a $20,000 dating coaching service, the offer that I was closing on. And that was fucking tough, right? But I had to understand how to influence people to make change. And I had learned a lot of manipulation actually when I was in the dating space as a dating coach. This is before I became a closer. So I was a closer on a dating offer, but before that I was in the dating space as a coach myself. Because I was a nightclub promoter and I learned a whole bunch of stuff from mentors about dating and attraction and seduction and all these things. And there was a lot of manipulation that was in this space, which was a big reason why I left the dating space and my company just kind of crashed, because I wasn't aligned with manipulation in dating. Because I do not believe that manipulation is used in dating, like dating tactics and strategies, is beneficial for women. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's good, right? Men learning how to use these tactics. But in sales, I think it is okay. Because in sales, again, assuming you're selling something that's ethical, right? Selling something that is helping people, right? So as an example, the offer that I was on, which ended up being a dating coaching offer, and they wouldn't teach anything bad. They were teaching just confidence and stuff. It was kind of a very mainstream dating offer. It wasn't anything, crazy psychology they were teaching. So in that dating offer, it was great because we would help guys find wives, help them find girlfriends, help them get back on their feet after a divorce. That stuff was great. So I pulled out every single stop, handled objections, and now in sales, I teach my people how to use it. Our sales reps, the people that are training in protocols, as the hat says, I train them in the most advanced, most diabolical manipulation tactics that I've used. So we'll get into the training here. We'll make it simple. I'll make it clean. We'll make it concise. If you see my girl walking around in the background, you see luggage and stuff. It's a whole mess right now because we're about to go to Tokyo. So I'm flying out in a couple of hours. When I wanted to sit down and have this conversation with you and make this training, because I think that it would make a huge change for you if you're in a role, if you're trying to make money. This will change the game for you. So the first tactic that I use, the first manipulation tactic that I use, is what I call lines of logic. Okay, lines of logic means that it's based on the understanding that decisions, the way people make buying decisions, those decisions are backed by logic and they're driven by emotion. My entire sales philosophy, if you've watched one of my previous videos on pre-framing, as I call it, pre-handling is what others call it, objections, you'll see that I talk about this concept here. Lines of logic. People make buying decisions. They decide, yes, I'm going to buy something. They decide that backed by logic and driven by emotion. So the backing is logical. Backing meaning people won't do something if it logically doesn't make sense for them to do so, right? So if I'm selling a fitness offer, it has to logically make sense for that person to want to and to actively desire to lose weight at this point in their lives, and the program has to make sense. And it's driven by emotion, which means the desire to do it now, the desire to actually invest in the program now versus putting it off to later. That driver, the thing causing that to happen, is going to be emotion, right? So backed by logic, driven by emotion. What I want to do as a sales rep, and lines of logic means I always want to find flawed logic that is not aligned with them making a helpful decision, and I want to be able to present new logic, which is what we call a new line of logic. And I have a whole cheat sheet on this actually. I give it away for free on my Instagram. If you type in protocols, message me protocols, I'll send you the cheat sheet, by the way. My Instagram is down below. I'm not telling you, it's like free. You can just get it for free. I'll send it to you. Because I forgot about this. I don't talk about it a lot on the channel, but I forgot that I give this thing away. So we have a cheat sheet on logic and understanding people's logical decision pathways. So I always want to find flawed logic that is not aligned with making a helpful decision and present new lines of logic, right? And this is going to help me close at a very, very high level. So as an example, let's say someone says, let's say I'm selling an Airbnb arbitrage offer, and you ask someone, so tell me what's been holding you back. You're in discovery, and you ask someone what's been holding you back from kind of, making money and hitting 10, 15K months when it comes to Airbnb. And they say, well, I didn't start because the market is bad. I haven't started yet because the Airbnb market's bad. That's an example right there where their logic is flawed, because what are they insinuating? They're insinuating because the market is bad, that means that I can't be successful with or make money with Airbnb. I need to reframe that. I can't let that happen on the call. So this is an example of the manipulation strategy, right? I'm not just having an innocent conversation with them where I'm figuring out where they're at and then basing what I do only based on what they give me. I'm actively trying to get the prospect to invest in a very, very specific logical direction that's going to be aligned with them making change. It's going to be aligned with them buying. And if they don't invest in that direction, I have a lot of work to do as a sales rep, and I need to be able to handle that, which is where things get tough, which is where skill set comes in, right? So I'm acutely aware of my prospect's logic at all times. I'm always aware, and I consider myself to be kind of, I love how this sounds, but the puppet master of logic. So I'm always influencing and yes, manipulating my prospect's logic to be aligned with how I need them to think in order to buy. And again, as a result, I'm able to get paid and the prospect's able to make changes. So we don't use this for negative. We don't use this like, and I tell my guys all the time, because in protocols, we go really, really deep on a lot of human behavior and psychology. We just had a 2.5-hour training on it. And I told the boys, I was like, and we got ladies come in too, but it was a couple guys in the session. And I was like, guys, don't use this in your relationship. Don't use this for evil, because you really could use this stuff to influence people. It's not great, to be honest, if you use it not for good, and stuff works. And I have examples and case studies of me using this on sales calls, and then people joining a program, and then not our stuff only, but coming back and then saying, oh, maybe this wasn't for me, because on the call they operated under decision making and framing that wasn't actually who they were as a person. I did this on the dating offer, and I would have some people who fully committed and were bought in, and then later they weren't. And I'm like, why? But it's because I got them to operate under psychology and framing that was not really aligned with who they were, but it was who they said they wanted to be. So they picked that path on the call to stay consistent with it, right? Some really, really deep stuff. So tactic number 2, this is a really cool one. It's something that I don't think anyone teaches correctly. In high-ticket sales, no one really teaches this. Some people flirt with this idea, but no one really leans into it. It's called negatively driven questioning. So I love using negatively driven questioning to accomplish certain tasks and to reframe certain ideas or to handle certain objections. So when we reframe, you need to make sure that you understand this correctly, because most closers do it wrong. Most of the guys that are posting, I see all the Instagram reels now on the phone and the TikToks, all these guys that are showing like their flashy sales, they're not showing you every single sales call. It's like the ones that are the coolest, the ones where they had some prospect who was very high compliance and they got the prospect to say something and it looked cool for Instagram, and maybe they closed, maybe they didn't. That's what happens. But in actuality, when you're taking 80 to 100 calls a month, you want to consistently follow a process and do things correctly, do things on protocol, as we say, So there's a technique that I use, a strategy, a system called RAL, which is reverse activation loop. And a reverse activation loop basically is a psychological technique that I created. I had to figure out a way to like position this, and the best way I could think of it is to bundle this idea into this training. And it's a psychological technique that uses negatively framed questions, negative framing, to expose someone's flawed logic, to disarm their resistance to moving forward in a specific path that's going to benefit them, ideally, in the future they want to create, and guide the prospect to almost rebuild their own belief systems from the inside out. So it's comprised of 2 phases, okay? And I trained on this. I gave this whole training actually inside of my video on how to pre-frame objections. It's a whiteboard that I made that just came out, give or take, a week ago as of me shooting this video. And I made it and I broke down on a whiteboard intense detail on how to actually pre-frame, how to pre-handle objections, super powerful stuff. So I'd recommend checking it out. But so we have 2 phases. Phase 1, We want to lead with negative framing, okay? Negative framing would be you pose a question that essentially reflects the flawed logic in its most rigid or its most extreme form. So let's go back to the Airbnb one. This guy tells me on the call, he's like, you're like, what's been holding you back? How come you haven't jumped in, and what's been really stopping you from making money? He's like, well, we're in a down market, so I don't know, the market's down, I don't know if it's the best time. Okay, so now I'm gonna go flawed logic, negatively framed question. Well, I'm curious, brother, do you feel like absolutely nobody is making money with Airbnb because the economy is a bit up and down? Do you feel like it's absolutely impossible and there's no one who is making money right now? Okay, that's a negatively framed question. And what it's gonna do, here's the fun part, and this is the stuff that I live for, that's why I love training sales, because we can go so deep on these tactics and these strategies and structures. What it's gonna do is it's going to force the prospect to justify and explain their own flawed logic, because my belief system at the end of the day is that I'm going to be right. I think I'm going to be right, and I think he's going to be wrong. Wrong and right meaning I believe that he can make money in this market, and I believe that if he has the right tools and support systems and training, we will be able to help him make money. How true that is or not, I don't know, but I have to believe that because it's my job. And if the company is good, they should be able to do that. I don't know. Some companies are just shit at what they do. But generally, if you're closing for a good company and they have a good offer, an offer meaning where their delivery is good and they're not scamming people, you should be able to get people results, right? Same thing as an example for our offer. I get closers all the time. I'm sure you're watching this because you're probably one of them, maybe. And I get people who come through our pipeline all the time and they're like, I want to find an offer first that's really good and then work on my skill set. I think that's stupid because you're not going to be able to really find a great offer, or you may luck into it and then you get cooked. It's very difficult to find a great offer, like a really, really good offer, when you don't have a great skill set. Unless you pay, then you can pay to get an offer and then you'll get fired. As happens to literally like 2 to 3 people we talk to every month who get on, I'll just say, get on V-Shred, you pay to get on V-Shred, and then get cooked. And I tell y'all, I say it all the time, and then you think that you're going to be good, you think you'll be able to do it without proper training because you went in some little course, you went in fucking Closer Cartel or some shit, and you did that for 2 months, got some role plays under your belt, and you're like, this is not so hard, and then you pay to get an offer, and then you get cooked. So as an example, if we get a call, and one of y'all tells me, one of you tells me on a call, yes, I think I just need to get on a good offer, and really the job is what I need the offer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, gotcha. I mean, is it the case where, for you, I would guess, do you feel like all you need to do then is just have an opportunity handed to you, and you do not need to be good at all to earn that opportunity? Negatively framed question. That's going to cause you to explain to me, I'm telling you what I'll do, because if you talk to me, I'm going to do this, and you have this framing problem, then I'm going to reframe it for you and pre-handle this, because there'll be an objection that would come back later, because you would say you don't want to do our program, because first you need to get an offer, right? So I have to handle this early. So what I would do is I would give you a negatively framed question. We would go down a negative path together, and I would keep asking negatively framed questions until you back off your point and you're like, okay, fine. It doesn't actually make sense at all that I can get on a really good offer if no one knows who I am or no one knows that I'm good, that someone will just give me a good offer and magically I will make money when there's a bunch of closers out there who are better than me and they're the ones that are getting hired, right? You would eventually back off your point. So reverse activation loop, RAL, is going negative, 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 right? And then phase 2 would be you invert even deeper. So once the logic hits its own basement, and this is really, really technical, guys, but I train technically. Once the logic hits its basement and we go deeper into the reframe or deeper into the logic, you basically push it even further down. So with this guy, the Airbnb arbitrage offer, going back to that, I would ask him, I would double down and say, if he answers, he's like, well, some people are making money, I'm sure. I would say, well, do you think that it's impossible to win right now? Meaning, because I know some people are, but you sound skeptical on that. Do you believe that it's absolutely impossible more to win right now, or is it that most people just don't know how, or how do you feel? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give him a path of 2 options. Like, do you think it's absolutely impossible to have success in this area? And if this person tells me no, it's not impossible, well, now he's cooked. Because then I would say, why can't you? Because I don't have the right tools or training. Oh my goodness, objection pre-handled, logic handled. We've created a nice solid logical platform to sell on. Now we're good to go. And we have a dialogue around that, which will be my next point, right? That's so powerful. So this is one of the most powerful techniques that I use. It's negatively driven questioning to explore people's logic and their logical reasons for not being ready for something or not able to do something. I explore the logic and I make their logic completely fall apart. This is a very, very powerful strategy to use, and I'd recommend you use it. The third thing, tactic 3, this is the last one, is I give them control. This is one of my favorites, giving people control. So a lot of sales reps, and this is what so many sales reps do this wrong, trust me on this. So many people do this wrong. A lot of sales reps are fixating on scripting and getting this compliance with yeses or nos. Like, do you want to be this guy? Yes. Okay, then what does that guy do? He does this. It's not so fucking simple. When you're really, really good at communication and sales, you'll understand that dialogue and conversational investment is much more powerful than just yes or no answers. I used to think yes or no's were really good. I used to think they were. And there's a place for them. You know, do you want to be this person? Yes or no? Sure. That's cute. That's nice. That's beginner level stuff, right? But you get in kind of like you get inside of like a box, right? Like you get in this objection handling box where you're very, very limited in your ability to actually handle objections or your ability to create compliance because you're limited to these yes or no binaries, as they call them. Like you're limited there. And you're not having extreme dialogue where the prospect is actually investing in their communication, their delivery on a certain pathway. What I want people to do is I want them to invest in a specific pathway. I want them to invest in a specific narrative on the call, right? So if I get the prospect to fully invest in a certain path, it's absolutely just going to do wonders for my ability to close them. So this is all based on the ability I can't make a person do anything, right? So that's why the third tactic is give them control. I can't make someone do anything, and I genuinely believe that I'm not making them do anything, but I'm giving them full control by allowing them to invest in a line of logic. So going back to, let's use this guy with the Airbnb thing, and he's like, no one in the market's it's hard to make money. And I'm like, is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. And he's like, okay, it's just tough. Gotcha. So are you missing the right tools? He says, yes. I'm not happy with the yes. What I'm going to say is tell me more about that in terms of what you're just missing right now. How is that slowing things down for you? Now I'm going back to the original question, what is holding you back? But now he's going to reinvest in this pathway of actually saying what's missing, what's holding him back. He's going to reinvest in it energetically, energy-wise, right? How powerful is that? Because I'm getting my prospects to invest, and I'll give you a little bonus here, I'm giving them control even in my tonality and my scripting and my body language. So what I'll do is, especially when I'm handling objections and someone says I just really need to take time and think about it, the way I go no problem is I don't just say, yeah, take all the time you need. I literally do this. I'm like, yeah, not an issue, man. Take all the time you want, sit with it, and we'll circle back. Before you go and do that, I just want to make sure, or I just want to know, because this is important to me, do you feel like we actually can help you to make changes and to grow your Airbnb business and hit 10, 15K per month? Because that to me is just the most important thing. Do you see how it feels like I'm fully giving him control to walk away and leave? I want to give my prospects control. This is so powerful. So everything in my body language, my tonality, my energy is not a problem, dude. You've got full control over this. I'm not going to handle anything here. I'm going to go. I just wanted to show up and do my job. You're good to go. Really, I'm going to stick on the call with him and I'm going to take this person's money because it's my job and because I want to help them make change. And the only way they're going to make change is if they pay my company because we can help them, right? So I want you to understand the third tactic is give people control. And I'm doing this because I'm enforcing dialogue. So I want them to tell me. I don't want them to just say yes or no. That's not enough. It's not enough for it to get a cute little yes or no. I want them to invest in a new frame. So again, going back to this thing on someone saying I just need an offer, if I reframe that and I get them to say, well, no, I definitely think that I need skill set too. It's very important, of course. I don't think I'd find the best offer. What am I going to do? I'm not going to say, good, and do you feel like you're ready to find the best offer, ready to work on your skill set? Yes. I don't want a yes. I want them to invest in it. So instead, I'd say, good, and I think that's powerful, and I'm happy you see it that way. Tell me more about why you feel skill set is important to you right now then, just based on where you're at. How crazy is that? Maybe you're not picking up what I'm putting down. Maybe I just love my own stuff too much. But this stuff is powerful, man, or woman. Because we got some ladies here too. So when you're going through this, oh my goodness, like you get the prospect to reinvest in a new pathway, and psychologically they adopt those thoughts as their own on the call. It's fucking crazy how this happens. And most closers don't have I would say they don't have the skill set to do this, but it's not because they can't or they don't have the intellect to. It's because they haven't been trained to. So most training does not go on this because a lot of sales reps or sales trainers don't train on human behavior and psychology. They train on like decision trees. They train on word tracks and like objection scripts, which is cute. Like it's nice, but that's like baby shit. It's not actually human behavior and deep psychology of influence and persuasion, which is the training we do, right? So that's the protocol. This is how I manipulate people and take their cash. This is straight up how I do it. And if you ever work with me, I'm gonna manipulate you, take your cash, I'm gonna teach you how to do the exact same thing. And we do it for good though. We help people make change. I'm not doing this out of some egoic place of like, I just want to close someone and I don't care. I want to make people money. I want to help people lose weight. I want to help people build their ecom business. I want to help them become better traders. As a closer, you should want people to be able to find funding, help people get travel points, all these different offers, help people scale their Airbnb business. That's what we do this for as closers. That's what you're in the game for. So I use these tools only for good. I use them to make as much money as I can, help the company make money, and help others make money. That's what I do and help them make change. That's how it works, okay? That's all I got for you. 2 ways that I can help you. Both of them are free. Well, one ends up not being free if you use it, but initially 2 of these are free. So one, newsletter down below where I talk about sales and I basically share my insights that I'm experiencing in the sales game, and I share that with you and train you up and give you deep, high level training and framework systems, protocols that I do not share on YouTube. I have trainings that I don't share on YouTube that are in the newsletter, objection handling, call reviews that I do of my own personal calls. It's on the newsletter. Crazy value. It's down below right there for you. It's free. You just get it. Just put your email in, and we'll send it right to you immediately. Or you can book a call with my team. It's not a sales call. We're not going to sell you or pitch you anything. It's a 15-minute strategy call. We have that down below where we basically figure out if we can help you, see what you need, and if we can't help you, we're just going to point you in the right direction. But no matter what, we don't pitch you on the call. It's 15 minutes. It's completely free. It's not a sales call. It's a strategy call, which is what the name implies. It's strategy, where we figure out exactly what you need and point you in some directions. And if we feel like we can help, if we're like, hey, we can make you money, then we'll say, hey, book a demo call, which that's a sales call, and we'll pitch you and we'll tell you what our program looks like and how we can train you. And if we feel like we can't help, which happens a lot, by the way, I think about 30% of the people who book strategy calls, we invite them to do a demo call. A lot of our people we don't book for demo calls, just so you know. If you're watching this and you're like, I want to book a strategy call, but I'm scared they're going to pressure me or something, none of that's going to happen. We don't even pitch you. We have a no pitching policy on our strategy calls. It's 15 minutes, okay? That's all. That's how I can help. I am going to go fly to Tokyo and enjoy some of my hard-earned commissions and hard-earned cash that I have been grinding on over the last couple months. And I will see you on the next one. We're gonna keep the content coming. Expect some cool stuff, cool videos, cool stuff coming out from me. More value is on the way. Okay, I'll see you later. Take care. Be blessed. Make some money. I'll see you on the next one.